What's up everybody, Trinity here, and welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing The Marked, issue number 1. Now before I get into that, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell, and all of that good stuff. Now, as I said, today I am going to be reviewing The Marked, issue number 1, but if you could do me a favor, I guess you could say this review is brought to you by my local comic book shop, that's Bases Cards and Comics, right here in Lancaster, California. And they didn't sponsor this video or anything, I'm not being paid, they're just an awesome comic book shop, and they lent me this book to review to bring to you guys, okay? So The Marked, issue number 1, this is obviously a new series being published by Image Comics. Now, the writer here, the story is by David Hine and Brian Haberlin. The art is by Brian Haberlin. The colors are by Jared Van Dyke. The letters are by Francis Takanaga, and the lead developer is David Pence, and production by Diana Swanson and Hannah Wall. I'm going to go ahead and show you those names right there, just in case I messed any of those up. Hey, you know, I want to try to get things right. So this book is kind of it's about magic, okay? We, at the very beginning of the book, we get introduced to a character after, you know, just like an incident has happened in what looks to be kind of like a group home, where there was like a fire or something that had set and taken place. And then we open up to this character who appears to have created this fire back in her past. And this young lady's name is Saskia, as we see her arriving at what looks like a coffee house, just to meet with some friends. And she is there, and her friend passes her this stack of flyers that had come out about this little art contest, and you're supposed to draw what you see. And so she goes ahead and draws what she sees on there, because she is an artist, draws what she sees, and it's not quite what the picture was. And you know, the girl who was there working in the coffee house was like, man, somebody needs their eyes checked, and it's not me, you know, just, I don't know, just silly stuff. So it was kind of funny because they play on this. She shows up to this address of the place. She set up this meeting with these people who had taken a look at her drawing and said, ooh, come meet us. So she shows up to this house that ends up being like this group home. And she gets introduced to one of the main characters here, who is kind of, you know, I guess you could say kind of like the head of the of this kind of group home, I guess you could say. And we see her right here, and she takes her to meet Kismet and Dahlia right here. Here's the young lady who looks like she's running in charge of this kind of group home. She takes her to meet Kismet and Dahlia. And so basically what they tell her is, what you found is what you drew here out of this ad, and we've been doing these ads forever. You're probably the first one we've done in like a really long time from these ads. As you know, they talk about, you know, doing subliminal ads in like online message boards and things like that, and how Kismet and Dahlia, who are old school inscribers, kind of rely on this old art school thing that, you know, we've probably seen those ads before. You've probably seen them out there before. And how you know, she finds it a little more reliable, but they show her like these what it is her avatar that she had kind of chosen, and what they're dealing with here is magic. And so they're telling Saskia that she has to basically become one with her avatar and just kind of grow into it and just kind of learn. And so they bring her back later to be branded with this particular avatar. And as they're doing this, you know, it causes a lot of pain, because it's just like getting a tattoo, I guess you could say. And it looks like she's kind of giving it to her like in an old school way, doing like a tattoo, you know, instead of like with a tattoo gun and all that kind of stuff. But they're not doing like tattoos. That's the weird thing. So as she's doing this, she's telling her about a lot of the magicians here. What are they calling them? They're calling them the Marked, which is what Saskia and all these people are. They're the Marked, and they use magic. And it says that throughout history, they've worked with these other these other factions, and they all really came together around, you know, the time of World War II with Nazis, you know, Hitler and the Nazis and all that. They came together with these magical groups called the Schengen and the Mages to battle in the mystic realm. And they're basically fighting this war against these basically these bad guys, you know, an evil faction of all these people that use this magic. And then of course there was one person who was one of the marked who ended up coming around to kind of save them all. It looks like they somewhat sacrificed their lives, so they have somewhat of a history here. And then soon after that happens, she has her magic, and she basically has to kind of grow into this avatar. And we see that, you can't probably, I'm not sure how well you can see that, she gets marked here on her back with that particular avatar. So naturally she gets done, and she's kind of growing into her magic there at this group home. And she comes and she's making a few new friends while she is there. And one of these girls, and I can't remember what her name is, teaches her about this hybrid magic, and says, like, hey, forget that old stuff. They're going for a night on the town. So we can see that a lot of these people use their magic to sit there and kind of doll her up, I guess. They cut her hair and get her some new clothes and things like that, and they use magic just to their advantage in certain situations, like we see particularly like right here. They're going through town, and they use magic to change the stoplights from red to green, because why not use magic to your advantage in a situation like that? But we see they all kind of get comfortable. She's starting to make friends with them, play nice. They go out to this club and have a good night, and then she wakes up the next day. Our main character here wakes up the next day, and she's like, man, what's going on? I feel like I'm hungover, and I didn't even drink nothing, because I think they were just kind of there hanging out and doing magic and stuff. Who knows? Maybe she got roofied, right? But we can see that they all, they all kind of come to after a long night, and that's when this other young lady ends up telling her, just about some of the magic and how she's been using this hybrid magic, and she can change the glyphs on them, and that's what they're calling the tattoos, like the glyphs that they use to kind of conjure their magic. So she goes ahead and gets her friend to agree, and she uses her tool there to sort of manipulate her avatar and her glyphs on there to use this hybrid magic. And we can see through the course of the story, she's kind of getting used to it. She's experimenting with this hybrid magic, but she's still new to it, and she kind of ends up getting scared, and it kind of causes this explosion, which she ends up losing her eyesight, which is just something kind of crazy that happens. So in the meantime, this person who is kind of like I guess you could say like the leader of this group home, and I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. She goes and confronts this young lady about, hey, like, what are you doing using this hybrid magic? We're not supposed to do this. And she's like, oh, well, your old school magic, it's just boring, and just that kind of stuff. The kind of stuff you get from teenage kids filled with angst and all those kinds of things. They're all better than their masters and everything. So what they go ahead and do is they actually exile her from this group home of people who do magic. And it's kind of funny because this teacher here does this whole Constantine thing here with the tattoos, and kind of takes away her avatars and exiles her from this group home. And in the meantime, so she takes off out of exile and ends up meeting with this friend of hers, this guy who's kind of been trying to play nice with her and get her number and everything. And he ends up taking her to this other place, this other how would you say, like maybe like a government controlled facility, where they are trying to reach out to these people who are the marked and get them and use them for whatever means they see fit, which obviously we can guess that they're the bad guys. And so basically, this young lady who was experimenting with this hybrid magic was, as she was cast out, she didn't actually lose her avatars. Like, they used it like a cloaking device, and they didn't really remove her magic or anything. But she ends up kind of turning against this faction of the Marked, who have been fighting this dark magic for centuries on end. And altogether, I gotta say, this book, it was okay. I mean, it's probably not something that I would continue reading, but I mean, that's ultimately up to you if you want to read a book that's... This book has a lot of female characters in it. It is pretty much a female-led story and things like that. And altogether, I thought it was pretty good. It's not for me. I'll tell you that it's not for me. I probably won't. I didn't pull this. It's not on my pull list. But like I said, my local comic book shop lent that to me to read. And So I thought it was pretty good. Not a bad book. It was a number one. If it's something that you think you guys might be into, you should definitely go check it out. And like I said, I showed you guys just some of the art going on here. It's not bad art. The art in it is pretty good. The coloring and everything is pretty well. The writing is decent. Altogether, like I said, though, I'm not sure that it's anything that I'm really into or will continue reading, but I probably will do a couple reviews for the next couple of issues just for you all. But let me know down in the comments below, have you read The Marked? If not, is it something you think you might be into? Well, anyway, let me know down in the comments below. That's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I have uploaded new content. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. But while you're at it, make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Happy reading, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.